Hi, and welcome. Thank you for joining Anacott Corporation as we conduct our training outline for effective customer engagement. Before we begin role playing, Anna and I thought it was important for us to identify different types of customers that we encounter.
Yeah, so for example, we are all customers in some way, shape, or form, right? So when we go to the grocery store, we're customers. If we buy our groceries online, those customers who buy groceries via Instacart. So those all are types of customers from grocery stores. In the restaurant industry, you have customers who go in to eat at the restaurant, pick up, or maybe even get catering from the restaurant. And then in athletics, you have players, coaches, their parents, and the industry as a whole, people who are buying athletic wear for their sports teams, tickets, all the things that go into that, concessions at the games, those are all customers within those industries.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't even think about the concessions, so that's great. And if within office environments, our bosses, our colleagues, some of our peers, even those with whom we interact cross-functionally, those are our colleagues. There are times that our director or the person that we report to requests something from us. They are our customer, as well as a colleague who sits next to us and requests our help in some way. That's our customer. We also know that within the banking and financial industries, those who want to keep their funds secure or want to grow their retirement funds, those are customers, and they seek many times assistance from those professionals for advice and additional information. And finally, another example we talked about was in the medical care industry. You have patients and caregivers, not just the patients who go to the doctors, but also caregivers of those individuals who help with patient and caregiving. They need instruction, and they are also customers too, as well as, again, that idea of working cross-functionally. Sometimes other clinicians interact with one another, and one clinician might be a customer of another. So there's a lot of interdependence between many roles, where at one point we might be a customer, at the next point we might be the vendor or the deliverer of output of the output that's necessary from somebody. So there's always a need, and that's why we are customers, and that's how we have customers, and we need to deliver an outcome that will hopefully satisfy the needs of whomever is requesting that information or that product or service. So we are the front lines of the company, and we have to meet certain needs that the customers require.
Right. So for this first role play situation, I will be an employee at a call center reporting to Kat, the operations manager. And this is my first day on the job, and I haven't really had any experience with customers over the phone, especially in a call center environment. So Kat is going to walk me through training and the different interactions I will have with different customers and different scenarios and possibilities I might be facing as a customer representative.
Yeah, thank you. Well, good morning, Anna. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm so glad that you joined our team here at Anacott organization. Our call center here, we service multiple types of calls, and we will also receive some very pleasant inquiries, and many times we also have to do a little bit of damage control as well. As you know, in a call center, you may have experienced when you yourself have called a call center. Quite often, you dial the 800 number, the consumer dials the 800 number, the phone rings, and immediately they're asked to input their account information before they're even brought to a menu of options. And at that point, they have to then listen to the menu of options, and we don't make it very easy. I have to admit, our company does not make it very easy for the customer to reach out to a representative. So as the individual works through the menu of options and or then reaches the point where they are being in the process, in the queue to speak with you, they're listening to some really wonderful generic music as well as pre-recorded messages that keeps iterating over and over again. And perhaps even prior to that, they may have pressed an incorrect option that either brought them back to the main menu or inadvertently were disconnected, so they had to try again. So I wanted to walk through a certain scenario with you in which you receive a call from an individual that has been on hold for quite a number of minutes, a lengthy period of time. And the scenario also is that they are a little distracted because in the meantime, while they were waiting on hold, they walked away from their phone, which was on speakerphone. They started washing the dishes or vacuuming or doing something else. And suddenly the call is connected to you. So they're not only a little distracted, but they're also feeling quite frustrated that they've had to wait for an extended period of time, listening to a pre-recorded message in generic Cisco style music that is definitely unpleasant after some time. So how would you receive this call, or what is your first step when you receive this call based on your previous training that you've received in our 30-day training, internal training course?
I think the first thing I would do was thank the customer for their loyalty to the company and their time, and reiterate that I understand that they have been waiting for some time and I hope I can help them get to the bottom of their issue. Does that seem correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to carry warmth in our voice and we want to be sincere. Quite often, by the time that some customers do reach our queue, they don't want to hear any kind of they don't want to hear anything positive other than that you are going to do exactly what you want them to do. They feel that your positivity might be insincere and that might even enrage them a little bit more. So yeah, try to stick with the script that we've provided to you. Because that might, or even practice the script perhaps with some of your colleagues. I know that part of the training, we did practice some script. And eventually it will become very intuitive on how to process and work through and remain emotionally detached from some of these challenging customers. And remember, your tone and inflection, as challenging as it may be, if we just try to put a smile on and just kind of laugh through it, not laugh at the customer, but smile through it. Hopefully we can persuade them to settle down. And but I do want to ask you, how would you handle a situation when a customer, no matter what you did, you know you've stuck to the script, you know that you've tried to satisfy their needs, and they still are incredibly persistent, incredibly angry, and starting to become verbally derogatory towards you? How would you handle that situation?
I think in that situation, I would try my best to hear them out as much as possible, because I think that at the end of the day, that's all they really want is someone to hear them. But if they start to become derogatory or ugly towards me, I know, unfortunately, it is not personal, but I would have to give them a warning and let them know if they continue to use derogatory language towards me that I will unfortunately not be able to complete their request and disconnect the line. And thankfully everything is recorded, so I will have the documentation and be able to learn from that moving forward and maybe handle it in a different way next time.
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. If you feel threatened in any way, whether it's they physically express violence towards you, or they use certain language that could be deemed violent or just inappropriate and unprofessional, because we are trying to help, we are professionals trying to help meet someone's need. I agree with you. You disconnect that call, and because it is recorded, please make a note of it. Contact me through enter email let me know the situation, alert me of this so that we can be mindful and ensure your safety. And I also recommend that you take a couple of moments after that call, three to 5 minutes, collect yourself, get up from your desk, and kind of hit that reset button, get some water, go for a walk, try to disconnect from that emotionally. That's something that I strongly advocate for all of us, and keeping in mind that, yeah, we do need to receive as many calls as possible, and we do have to hit a certain level of productivity, but I just want to ensure your safety and your well-being. It's, I don't want you to have to carry any of that stress home. So we keep that here at our office, right?
Right. I think that is very good to know. I think within my first 30 days, I have learned a lot here. And I think this meeting has allowed me the tools and resources to construct and navigate situations with customers that I didn't have before, as well as maintaining a level of effectiveness and efficiency in order to service the customer to the fullest extent, and as well as service multiple customers. That way we are helping as many people as possible. So I think going forward after my 30 days, I will continue to learn and use these tools and resources that we've outlined here in this customer engagement scenario. And I really appreciate everything that you have provided with me and provided feedback for all of the different questions and scenarios that I gave, and gave me the appropriate counter answers as well. So this is something that I will continue to reference moving forward.
Well, thank you. Great, Anna. I appreciate you and your hard work, and I know this will be a terrific fit.
Yes. And this concludes our first segment of role play scenarios. Hello, and welcome to our second recording of our role-playing series. In this series, we will be going over in a one-on-one session with an employee on how to approach customers and build rapport. So in this series, I will be the manager conducting a one-on-one with Kat, the employee who is within her first 30 days of employment at Mariano's, where I am the grocery store manager. So to kick it off, thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Kat. Thank you for coming to our one-on-one. I really appreciate your time. And I just want to get an understanding of how you feel within your first 30 days, your comfortability being out on the floor, maybe some of the things you have experienced, and talk about any questions that you might have, and maybe guide you towards better approaches with customers or anything in that regard. So I'm going to give it to you and let you air out anything that you wanted to do.
Oh, thank you so much, Anna. I'm so excited to join the team today, and I am excited, and I'm still a little nervous too, because I'm learning about the store and I still have to meet and learn about all of the different people that I work with. And so I hope that I can do the best that I can do and just make sure that I put products away the right way. I know we went through a training program before I started, and I feel really good, but I still don't know the store 100%. So what happens if I have something, a product that needs to be put on the shelves, but I'm not sure where it goes? What do I do?
Right. So in that scenario, since right now we don't have you with a scanner and we're not necessarily have you at that point yet, what we can do is just make sure at all times you have a training buddy with you. So if there are any instances of confusion, you can lean on that employee and let them know that you're kind of confused with this aisle setup and you need further clarification on where items go. Or if you just want further education on the different aisles and how we set them up in the store, I will make sure to let your training buddy know that may be something that you will have interest in, so that way they can help guide you around our store completely and let you know about the different setups and the different departments and where to find certain things and what are most popular for customers when they do have questions. So we'll be sure to keep that training buddy with you.
Okay. And what I'm also a little nervous when customers approach me and ask me questions, because I know I'm going to learn more while I work, and the more hours I work, I'll learn more about the store. But what happens if someone asks me for a certain product and I don't know where it is? Or if we have a certain product that used to be in the store and we can't find it,
right?
What do I do?
Those situations occur. Sometimes, customers will approach you, and you always want to be on the floor, looking approachable. You never want to have a customer thinking maybe you're in a bad mood and they can't approach you. So we do like to stress that is an important way that the way you carry yourself and the way you are perceived to the customers. So in that situation, you would want to be open and hearing them out and letting them know, even if you don't know the answer completely, that you are going to find someone who does know, and you will help them find the item they're looking for. Also, a really good rule of thumb is kind of just being aware of your surroundings at all times. And sometimes you will be able to tell, especially moving forward, as you continue to get more experience, you will see customers who may be confused or look disgruntled, or may look like they just need help. So in that situation, I really do encourage you to ask them, approach them. If you feel comfortable enough, approach them and ask them if they needed help finding anything, or if they were finding everything that they were looking for that day. Unfortunately, if there are situations where we don't have things in stock, you will have to relay that information to the customer. So what you can do, if we don't have something in stock, but we will be getting it soon, you can let them know of the dates that we will have the product available, and you can take down their information and we could give them a call when it arrives. Or unfortunately, sometimes throughout the year, our store goes through a reset of items. And if we find things that aren't selling too well, we discontinue them across all of our stores. So that those types of situations do occur when a customer is looking for something, and unfortunately, we discontinued it as a store. But in that situation, I would encourage you to help them find a substitute. Our store carries a lot of great substitutes to national branded items that maybe someone was looking for, or you can help them find the closest thing possible. So I know that was a really long answer. Did I cover every aspect of your question?
Yeah, I think so. I think, if I might repeat what you said, that if I have any questions, it's okay for me to find another team member and ask for their help, or a manager. And if customers ask me questions that I don't have the answer to, it's okay to tell them, to show them that I don't have the answer, but I'll find the answer for them, or get the answer for them as quickly as possible. And if they're looking for a specific item that we're currently sold out of, that we can take their information and call them back call them into the store once we have that product delivered, or even find out the potential date, or the date when we'll get that product in. And if we don't carry something anymore, the best that we can do is just help find them something else within our store, so they don't have to take a second trip someplace else to buy the same or similar item.
Right,
So
that's
yeah,
all correct. Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Just at the end of the day, always trying to keep the customer in mind and how we can best service them. So yeah, that was correct.
great, awesome. And I also saw some of our other employees before as I was waiting for our training to start today or our one-on-one. I saw other, excuse me, other employees asking people for help
Hmm.
or if asking people if they could help them, and they walked them to the aisle or the place. So is that
Right.
something we're encouraged to do, or is it okay for me to just point out that something's down a certain area and just send them off that way?
Right. So I'm so glad you brought that up. That is very important in building customer rapport and great customer service. So we really want to strive to give the best possible service we can. So you do want to spend a little time with the customer when they do ask you a question. Listen to their question, and if they really don't seem like they know where they are, they know where they're going, please guide them to the aisle and the set place in on the shelves, so they know where that is for next time, and that way they don't get flustered going down an aisle and not knowing where to look. So yes, please do so.
Well, thank you, Anna. I think you answered all of my questions that I have right now, but I'll definitely ask if that's okay. I'll ask more questions throughout either my team and people with whom I work, if that's okay. And
Right.
I'll keep learning. I'm excited to start, and I'm really excited to hopefully one day work towards being a cashier and even a manager of the store. So thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Yeah, of course. Just keep learning. That's the most you can do. And we're really happy to have you on the team. So thank you.
Thank
And
you.
this now ends our second role playing snippet. Hello, and welcome to our third and final role-playing scenario. So in this scenario, we will be in a corporate setting where I am a new employee on Kat's team in a projects focused role, and I am having a one-on-one with Kat within my first 30 days to go over how I thought my first month on the job went and any issues that I'm facing and moving forward. So with that, I will go ahead and open it up to Kat to start off our one-on-one.
Thank you. Well, Anna, welcome again to our team. We're so pleased to have you. I just wanted to have a little touch base with you here, very informal conversation between you and I, so that I can better understand how your first 30 days have been here with us and the team. And if there's any questions you have for me, or if there's anything that I can help you with to eliminate or remove some barriers that you found you've come up against, and just to be your mentor in your ear.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate that. So I've really enjoyed the team and the role so far. The first month kind of just flew by. The one thing I did have noted that I wanted to ask was just more clarification on how assignments are distributed and how are they received, and the notification process there, because I think I have gotten a little confused in that area.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So when we receive requests from customers, and when I say customers, these are teams internal to the company.
Mhm.
So these are other teams throughout the organization that are located either in our building, locally, around the United States, and even globally. They submit their requests through an internal intranet portal. And these requests come through our department, and as we read through them, as I read through them, and they are up for approval, I forward that information, then I assign these tasks and these mini projects to our team. So that information is distributed internally. We also have a chart through Trello where you can log your progress. And we Gantt chart everything so that we're able to track our progress. But ultimately, we rely on the the internal request portal that has a series of either aerials that the requesters select, or drop downs, key drop downs. And based on that information, we find the best internal resource, and then we assign those projects to you. So I should say, clarify, most of the information regarding the project is very well documented.
Mhm.
However, we do find that we have problems with some of the information and requests. So you might have to reach out to our
Okay.
customers with additional questions.
Right.
Does that help
right.
you?
That does help me, and that goes into my second question that I had noted. I know there are all sorts of ways that we communicate with customers. We have face-to-face telephone calls and video conference calls and emails as well. But one struggle I am facing is I think the projects are very well defined. I think the role in my role in the project is very well defined, and I have a good understanding of that. But where I am having issues is with questions that I have for customers and getting clarity on those answers that I receive from them, if at all. And unfortunately, it leads to an unforeseen delay in the project and overall timeline of everything. So I just was wondering if there was something I was doing wrong, or if how I can go about that in a better way.
Yeah, and first of all, I commend you, because in the time that you've been with us, you've delivered everything that was requested of you in a very timely fashion. So I was not aware that you were having kind of these micro delays, excuse me, within your the projects you've been working on. And I have to accept fault, and I'm very sorry, because what I just have realized is that you did not receive access to one of our internal documents, which maps out the requesters and their preferred communication medium. So perhaps that has been one of the challenges that you've met that we can overcome by giving you access to this document. So that's my fault, my mistake. And I will absolutely make sure that everyone else who's coming on board has access to this information timely. So for example, we have, as I had mentioned, teams, and as you know, teams all over. And let's say Tom from team A, and it's marked in this document that Tom from team A prefers to receive communication solely by email. Simply because he's traveling. He might be in other meetings and so forth, and may not have the time to answer calls, or he may be cross timelines or time zones, so that he can't answer calls. So his preferred method is via email. And when we ask questions via email, of course, we want to make sure that we have the appropriate deadlines. And so really, when we're going to reach out to Tom, if you see in your project that there is a deadline listed, we really want to be specific and targeted with the questions that we have for him.
Right.
So that he can kind of one or two quick sentences at a glance and see what additional information you need and respond accordingly. Now, there are other teams, perhaps Sue from team B, she prefers solely telephone. She wants people to pick up the phone and receive a call from her. So once again, when you're on the phone with her, you're going to speak clearly. You're going to be concise with your questioning. And I also recommend that with your projects via Trello or whatever medium, even if it's an old-fashioned notebook, document not only your questions, but also document the responses and the time that you receive these responses from the individuals, because that might perhaps help other team members as well if they have other questions. And Another media that we do rely on heavily is not only telephone and face-to-face meetings, certainly, but video conferencing. Many of our internal customers are global. So we have to approach questioning methodology with video conferencing and keeping in mind their time zone and the appropriate team members that should participate on that video conference. And just be concise, be clear with your questioning, whether you're working remotely or from the office. I know you're always going to present yourself professionally because I've worked with you long enough, but we just request that you continue to maintain that professional attire and atmosphere around you. And also recommend that somehow we coordinate. It's a challenge, but that we coordinate these teleconferencing so that it's not only during their business hours, but our business hours, which sometimes can conflict and be a challenge. But I'd prefer that we be mindful of your personal time as well. So does that help?
No, that
Clarify a
helps,
little bit of
and I
information?
think that resource will be great moving forward. I'll have a clear idea of what teams prefer what communication methods, and as I continue in projects and continue learning on the job, I will keep developing. So I think that will be a good resource to have moving forward, and just continue to document everything that I have with clear actionable items and deliverables with timelines, as long as I'm using, of course, the correct communication method for the requester. I think my question should now, the window and gap should be shorter.
Yeah, and again, I'm sorry for creating that challenge, because I definitely, if I given you that information, you would have been able to clearly and distinctly see exactly what you needed and how to reach out to these folks. And so again, I take full ownership of that. And however, I also do want to know that if you still continue to have barriers or challenges with people responding effectively to any of your questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can somehow work on escalating that information and escalate the request to get the information that you need so that we can continue moving forward on the deliverable.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I appreciate all of the resources you just walked me through and all of the techniques and processes. It'll be great moving forward. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today, Anna. And anytime you need anything, I'm here for you. Okay. We're here to work together as a team. So thanks so much for your time today.
Yes. That ends our last role-playing series.
Thank you.
Bye.